hear me? And I think that are we like digging into
How about now? Is that better? Can you mute it? Or I can mute me.
We're trying to work out.
Does this work? No.
Okay.
I'm just going to log off of this.
It still says, oh, no, that's you. Hi, everyone. Can everyone hear us?
Yep, just got some feedback.
Okay, what about now? Same?
That's better.
Okay. All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. Sorry about the sound, guys. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States
of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Lori, you might have to speak up a little bit just because you're so far. Can everybody hear me?
They're shaking their heads, yes.
Okay. All right, we'll try to get through this. I hate this Zoom. I apologize, you guys. So first thing on the agenda tonight is to approve minutes.
We have visitors.
Oh, visitors. Okay. Welcome. Do we?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see. We have Gwen Tusa. We have Laura Hall, McKenna, and Stephanie Pena. Did I say that right, Stephanie? Also with McKenna.
So Gwen technically is going to be the only visitor because we have them on the agenda. Gwen, do you have any comments for DDA board?
No, Mike, I don't. I just was curious of what was going on. Thank you.
Okay.
oh, I couldn't hear any of that. Maybe I should come up somewhere.
I know if I could, because the sound is turned on.
Okay. Up on the the agenda first, then if there's no visitors' comments, we'll move on to approval of the minutes. We've got the regular meeting from December 9th. On the agenda first, and if there's no visitors' comments, we'll move on to approval of the minutes. The special meeting from December 21st, the regular meeting from December 9th. On the agenda first, and if there's no visitors' comments, we'll move on to approval of the minutes. The special meeting from December 21st, the regular meeting from December 9th. The first meeting from the visitors' comments, we'll move on to approval of the minutes. The special meeting from December 21st, the regular meeting from December 9th.
Hey, Mike, all we're hearing is noise like Attack from the Planets right now. That stopped.
Is that better, Scott?
Yeah, at first I thought you put us on the COM app.
Right, we're over on the Death Star here. Sorry. I had to step out just because something was echoing weird. So, okay, if we can move on and everybody can hear, apologize. We'll approve minutes. We've got the regular meeting from December 9th. We have the special meeting from December 21st. And we have the EV committee from the 3rd of December. We need to approve those as presented.
I make a motion to approve as presented.
We have a second.
I'll second, Bob.
Thank you, sir. Motion Scott, second Bob, to approve the committee reports. We've got the regular meeting minutes from December 21st, the special meeting minutes from December 9th, and the EV committee meeting minutes from December 3rd. Any discussion or comments? Hearing none, we'll call, or we'll just, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Discussion action items. We do have Laura, and sorry, I forgot the other. I apologize. For McKenna Associates, they're going to be talking tonight about the renewal of the TIF in a potential expansion of another TIF district. So Laura, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you if you want to discuss it.
Great, thank you so much. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, it's a pleasure to be with you tonight and to meet this DDA board. As I was just introduced, Laura Ha, I'm a senior principal planner with McKenna, and with me tonight is my colleague Stephanie, and we're going to be working with this board and Heather and the village administration on updating your development and TIF plan. And as I'm sure you're familiar with the development and TIF plan, it's really the guiding document that outlines the projects that the DDA can spend the TIF revenue on. So it's very important, not only for the DDA and the village, but it's also a requirement for the state. And so this evening, we were hoping to walk through the schedule and kind of dive into that first. That will give a good overview of what we'll be accomplishing over the next 8 months. And then I wanted to have a bit of a discussion on your past accomplishments and what you're really trying to achieve with this development plan. And then end with a discussion on public engagement opportunities. And tonight, all feedback is welcome. This is really an opportunity for Stephanie and I to get to know Blissfield a little bit better. If it's all right, I was going to share my screen if that could be enabled. If
Heather, can you do that, Heather?
Working on it.
Okay, perfect. So everyone should be seeing a blown out copy of the development and TIF plan schedule that I think you should have received in your packets. And so we really started this process late December, had an internal meeting with Heather and kind of gathered some information on the past plan and just some of the foundation for setting up this project. And since then, we've been reviewing the 1992 DDA plan, looking at any other studies that the DDA has done, looking at past goals and objectives. And we've started mapping out the district boundary and classifying the existing land uses, because that is one component of the plan that is required by the state. And so that brings us to tonight. We're really looking to hear from you as community experts on the DDA and where you hope this project will take this will take the village. Following this evening, we will be attending the joint village council meeting, where you'll be talking about goal setting. We hope that that will just provide some additional background information for us to get to know Blissfield a bit better, and the priorities, of course, of the village council. And then as we move into February, we're going to continue to look at the opportunities and constraints. We're going to be assessing the potential for additional TIF areas, kind of finalizing the public engagement. And then when we come together in February, we'll look at those draft maps. We'll take a look at some preliminary projects and priorities, and we'll finalize the public engagement, because in March, really, that's when the public engagement is proposed to kick off with a survey and focus groups. And then throughout March and April, we'll really continue the public engagement and work on getting the draft plan in front of you for review. In late April, we are proposing some in-person public engagement if permitted, but we have other options if in-person isn't possible. And then at the May meeting, this would be when the board would be reviewing the final draft TIF plan and making a recommendation to Village Council, and also asking Village Council to set the date for the public hearing, which we have identified as July 12th. And after that date in May, there's a number of processes that need to occur in terms of noticing and publications. And that really takes us then to the adoption period, which starts July 12th with that public hearing, and then a first and second reading by Village Council with ultimate adoption proposed for August 6th. So there's definitely some flexibility in this timeline that we've built in, and we're confident that this 8-month schedule will get us over the finish line. Are there any questions about the proposed schedule at this point or any aspects of it?
I would only say, Laura, the second reading, we're village per our charter. We don't have to have the second reading, so we may be able to close it off on July 26th if needed.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
It does seem like an aggressive but doable calendar, so we appreciate it.
Yes, of course. And if we need to make any adjustments or the DDA board needs more time, we're certainly happy to work with you so that you're comfortable with the schedule.
Does anybody have questions regarding the calendar itself?
Okay, great. Well, that will move us into just having a discussion about past project accomplishments. So Stephanie and I went through the 1992 development plan, and we looked at some of the goals and objectives that were outlined in that plan. And also there was a draft 2008 project list that was included, and you'll see the listing here represents the different projects that were identified at that time. And so these are a bit old. Many of them were slated in the plan to be accomplished by 2010. So I'd like to just run through these and get a better understanding of if you think these are still relevant, if you feel like they have been accomplished, if things have changed. So the first project for beautification, streetscape elements, flowers, banners, holiday decorations. This was actually proposed to be something that would be done annually. And it appears that the DDA still is working towards that every year. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Have there been any?
That's correct, sorry.
Have there been any major projects related with beautification over the past 5 years, or anything that the board is particularly proud of to accomplish?
I would say probably the planters, the downtown planters that we did.
Okay.
And which lights? Heather. Oh yeah, and the cross lights downtown, the Edison lights downtown.
Okay.
Also the bridge lighting. Scott, did you have something?
It's just going to say the swags and
Yep.
decorations that you guys have done downtown.
For holidays?
Correct.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. The second item dealt with promotion. So a number of different avenues, radio, print, internet, billboard. How do you feel your marketing has gone to date?
I would say we're learning quite a bit with, what sources or resources we should do. We expanded down in towards the Toledo area, with a larger radio station this year for our Yuletide, and I think that was pretty successful. So we're learning, who and where we should invest in, the flyers or the online marketing or the radio marketing.
Okay. Are billboards?
Facebook and social media has been a real help with Heather too. So
Good.
We don't have any billboards. We had one on 223, but we did away with that one.
correct.
Okay. All right, then there was a project line item for Blissfield paraphernalia. There were no other details with that.
It sounds pretty weird. Might work better in Morenci, I guess. maybe like Blissfield cups or shirts, but I'm not sure.
The ornament idea may settle with
Yeah.
that. Just sort of the yearly, you know, it's Blissfield stuff, but it's technically kind of free advertising, free marketing for us. You know, we hand this out and then it just reiterates and reminds people of, you know, who we are and what we are.
So every holiday you do a different ornament for the DDA, or is it for the village?
The DDA.
Do you partner with like a local business that does those?
No, we just pick or choose a historical picture or historical building or historical element of the town, and that's what's on the ornament. We have a little description that tells about the history of that specific site.
Okay, that's a very nice idea.
We also do flyers and like business resource guides that give out information, just, you know, what Blissfield offers, not only in terms of, you know, infrastructure, but as well as just living and, you know, dining, recreation, that sort of stuff as well.
Sure. All right, the next project, it's, you know, the paraphernalia, some of these projects may have never come to fruition or never been implemented, and that's okay. Just trying to get a feel for what you feel is like our successes of the past and what you feel like has already been taken care of. The facade improvement grants, so it definitely looks like those are something that's still offered and that the community participates in. Is that right?
Correct. That's been a pretty successful resource that we provided. I'm not sure how many 100,000, but we have given out quite a bit to help business and property owners rehab their buildings in the downtown district. So that's worked out well for us.
Okay. Encouraging and supporting public art projects.
I would say yes. If anybody else has ideas, you know, throw them out there by all means, please. We've always been interested in the public arts, you know, providing areas for artists to put their artwork, or we've done an event called Art at Your Feet, where people have a square on the street and they design their own art, and it stays there in chalk for a couple days, and they judge it and award it. There's a few others that we do here and there.
Okay. Are there any like semi-permanent public spaces for like rotating art exhibits?
No, but I'd like to see that.
You guys do have something down there by the bridge, Mike, down there with, I think Andrea worked on that by the Blissfield Insurance.
Correct. Yep, we do have one permanent art fixture, and we did discuss placing a lit up concrete slab area in a mini park that would allow a rotation of potential art pieces.
And we also partnered with the murals too, the quilt murals.
Yep.
Yes.
Correct. Yes, we did do that as a part of a facade enhancement.
Okay. Replacing the decorative lighting. You mentioned earlier the Edison lights. Would you say this accomplished that?
That, but also we did, if you combine that with the 223 streetscape, we did do a transportation enhancement project back in 2008. And that did replace a lot of the Cobra heads. It did some sidewalk replacement enhancements. So yes, I would say we did accomplish that pretty much. We would like to expand it outside or further in the district, but we are continuing to do that. It's just a cost factor.
Okay. Anything else related to the 223 streetscape that you feel like has been an accomplishment?
Yeah, the trees, we planted trees when we did that enhancement as well. We did decorative crosswalks. We worked with countdown timers. We lit the railroad bridge. We lit the pedestrian bridge. So yeah, I would say there's quite a bit that we focused on regarding the beautification and the enhancement of the 223 corridor.
Okay. And then the purchase and rehabilitation, resale of blighted buildings.
Scott, you want to take that one? That is something we have been looking into, yes.
I don't believe that's at this particular point something that the village or the administration within the village is apt to do or has the appetite to do.
I wouldn't say that it's off our radar though as a DDA program. I think that it's something that could be utilized. We just have to investigate a potential way to do it.
Has this body done that in the past? Are there any properties you've acquired and transformed?
Not that I'm aware of. And the one that was vigorously pursued was at this particular time rejected by the village administration.
Okay.
We did acquire property and demo a house though to do our parking lot enhancement project, and that was quite a few years ago.
Okay.
Okay, that's the chamber that did that. Okay.
Well, the development plan, in that it is a long range plan, 20 years into the future, we do recommend to include language about the purchase and rehabilitation and potential demolition of buildings, just in case that opportunity does present itself down the line. In 15 years, that might be the case, and then you would have the flexibility to at least address or consider it.
I agree. I think we should keep it on the radar. I think if other DDAs have done it successfully, there's no reason for us to not at least keep it on the radar to investigate it. We just have to get the proper information out there to make it happen.
Yes, and just because the DDA lists a project in the plan doesn't mean that you are bound to that. But it is better to have it listed than to try and tackle something that isn't. But you do have flexibility. So those are really the only projects that were listed in the 1992 with the draft 2008 addendum. And so as part of this plan, we'll be presenting this board with a very comprehensive and detailed project list that will provide recommendations on not only funding, but also timelines and potential partners.
Great.
We also included a couple projects that were identified from the village's master plan from the 2017 comprehensive plan, as we felt they were related to the DDA, and just wondered on how the DDA sees itself continuing and supporting these projects, or if you think there's not that much involvement potential. So the first would be to connect sidewalks throughout the village. So this would be if there's any gaps currently in the DDA.
What was the question again?
So these next couple projects that are on the screen are from the village's master plan. And
okay.
if you feel that the DDA has might have a commitment to see some of these projects through.
I would say the DDA doesn't have any non-contiguous sidewalks through it. So I think we're pretty good there.
Okay.
That would be more like the outskirts, the outlying subdivisions, that sort of thing in town.
Okay. The improvements to lighting. It sounds like
Yep.
maybe that there's a couple areas.
We accomplished that, I believe, when we did the transportation enhancement grant project with the, removing the Cobra heads and adding the decorative streetlights.
Okay.
That design was meant to light up the sidewalk more than the street. So I think we accomplished that for the district as well.
Okay, good. To investigate the feasibility of a pedestrian-only crossing across 223.
That's probably still an interest, but it's been a challenge just due to us having to work with MDOT in order to make that happen, and cost factors, of course.
Does the DDA have a relationship with MDOT?
We have I would say a working relationship with them, yes.
Okay.
But we probably could expand the decorative lighting. Sorry, taking a step back. We're a couple blocks out from our main corridor, but again, the outline area of the DDA, we don't want to forget that as well. And we probably could expand that street lighting out that way, both sides of town in the future.
There was a general project note in the master plan for street and infrastructure improvements. We'll get into this a little bit more as we kind of drill down in the district, but there might be some streetscape and other infrastructure improvements that come up. Is there anything that comes to mind?
Not so much the infrastructure, but more of a decorative, whether it's the grading, the tree replacement, brickwork, that sort of stuff, that would probably coincide with a more major infrastructure improvement that the village would put on itself.
Okay.
Well, and also teaming up with MDOT down the road, as we're talking about rehabilitation of a particular project, trying to participate with them to get a street light or a stoplight on 223, which would tie in like with the pedestrian only crossing too, as far as leading into downtown as well. But as Mike alluded to, very cost and a long time as far as getting that, probably looking at 10 years out, if we're able to do anything like that with MDOT.
Correct.
What intersection would that be at, the stoplight?
That was actually being proposed in front of the current Coach Light Plaza.
Okay.
Which that correlates with the purchase and rehabilitation of that potential property from the above section.
Okay. The last project identified in the master plan was to develop a plan for music and arts in the downtown area.
I would say that's always on the radar. Looking at revitalizing the old pool area for potential quote community meeting area. Also, potential possible band stand or band shell. And then again, always interested in having the arts. We do have quite a vibrant community regarding music and artistic. So to continue embracing that in the downtown probably would be a good thing.
Yeah.
And I thought we're looking at tying that type of activity also to the mini park revitalization that we're looking at too downtown.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the mini pocket park?
I'll let you do that, Mike.
Okay. We have a space in the downtown district where an existing building had been torn down or whatever, and it's potentially sort of an overgrown, unplanned, unkept mini park area. What we want to do is rehab that, revitalize it, kind of start with a fresh slate, and not only make it a place for eating and social gathering and networking, but also, again, like Scott alluded to, tying in artwork, whether it's not only visual, but also three-dimensional sort of an experience, just to bring more people down into the downtown district.
What intersection is that closest to?
It would be on Lane Street between 223 and Jefferson Street, right in the middle of our zero lot line building district.
And is that a village-owned property?
It is, yes.
Okay.
And we're currently working with developers, with landscape architects to make that happen within the next couple of years.
Okay. Is there a concept plan at this point, or?
It's almost completed, yes. It's
Okay.
very close.
All right. Well, that was it for the project list. So I'm just going to stop the share so that we can have more of a discussion. I was hoping to just kind of get a bit of a better understanding on really what you think maybe the biggest challenges are facing downtown Blissfield, and then what are some of the opportunities that you think are going to come available in the near term.
Well, opportunities, I think, are going to be really dictated as far as what we're able to do, at least this year, as, related to the whole COVID situation, of course.
Mhm.
I think the biggest opportunity with the conversations that we've had with businesses is having more events in the area that are enticing for the businesses to be a part of downtown. Also, continuing the format as far as further into the promotions of Blissfield as a whole through radio and other mediums as well. I mean, we have some good opportunities there as well. There's a lot of positives that are still going on. The design committee has done a fantastic job as far as the facades, the decorations. As far as small town America, I mean, we seem to be going in the right direction with retention of businesses. We're having more, even during this time, we're having more business openings than we are closings, which is fantastic. So people are seeing the opportunity within Blissfield as a whole to be able to do bigger and better things from a proprietary point of view. We still have opportunities as far as encouraging the businesses to have more friendlier shopping hours for the community, and not just be open 9 to 5, but have maybe some evening hours and weekend hours as well.
We've been working on some wayfinding signs,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that is needed downtown for directions.
What about your thoughts, you guys, regarding down the 223 corridor with those businesses in particular? You're talking Lena's down there to Becky's, that whole thing. I know it's always a challenge, of how to have those businesses, especially down that corridor. But there always seems to be room for growth, but I don't know exactly what that growth would be.
And what exactly are you speaking about, Gwen, as far as trying to get more involved in those areas?
I think so, but I don't know exactly, Scott, how you would get more involved. For example, like Litsky's down there. Okay, so they have, the Simplicity shop. I know that it's always a challenge to have those, they're not peripheral businesses certainly, but they're not the exact downtown businesses. And sometimes I think that's a challenge for them to be involved with things. You know what I'm saying? The same thing like, let's just say Lena's down the road. Okay, Lena's, they're good for food things, but it's kind of tough to, challenging, I should say, maybe it's a better word, to get them to where they feel like they're part of the downtown. And even going the other way, there's not so much as, I'm trying to think here, business-wise, the only business I can think of out there restaurant-wise is of course Becky's, or even the plaza, like you're saying, to incorporate now the new bowling alley coming into place and to get all of that involved. It's always been a challenge, I think, because they're not right downtown. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. We are very much reaching out to those, and
Yeah.
Heather's done a really good job as far as making sure that they know that they're part of the area. And I know when it comes to events, those individuals are reached out to as far as to try to get their involvement. We've discussed moving events from downtown to possibly out to like Coach Light Plaza area, like the green space that's out there.
Right.
And out to possibly like where the new farm museum's going to go, to try to get expansion of activity throughout the district and get more inclusive and kind of have a moving segment of the DDA.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think I like how you said that, Scott. That was that. I think you're right with what you're saying with the spaces. I'm just talking about from, I mean, obviously many years ago, like you say, out there at the plaza. And I think I would agree with you that Heather has certainly gone ahead and I see more of those businesses involved than they were in the past. But I think it's always a challenge because they're just not right downtown. And that was how I meant the comment as, not that they've been slighted. It's just always a challenge because they're not right there.
oh yeah, I didn't take it any other way.
Okay, good. Okay. But I do
Gwen?
think that there's a lot of options. With the farm museum and that green down there. I know that's some good thinking, you guys. Good.
All right. I would say that a struggle, Laura, is trying to get the community buy-in, again, to understand what we're trying to do. Just like where we're talking about this purchase of the property, I think there's a lot of rumors out there that are unsubstantiated. We're not getting the proper information out there on how we can pull off these projects and what a DDA does and what the mission of the DDA is in order to make these projects happen. And it's not just that project, but I guess just overall, what is the net worth to the community that we're putting in our time to try to continue rehabbing, revitalizing, bringing in new business, supporting existing business. And it's been a struggle for us to get the community to buy in on that.
Yeah, there will be opportunities going down the road with some of the other older buildings that we have. Some buildings that, even downtown may have some vacancies. I mean, we have across the street from the village office, a building that we use for events, which has been really good, the Loris building, but, ideally we love to see a business in that building to increase the flow of consumers downtown. So those are opportunities there as far as what we can do with some of these old buildings and some of these places that are open right now and vacant, I should say.
Any other challenges?
Funding, definitely, we always would love to do more than we can take on. And that's just, the fact of not having the funding to do it. We do have a pretty good or pretty successful relationship with some of the property owners, some of the business owners, and donating to our cause.
Okay.
But you can only beat the door down, on people for so often and so much. And then, they get a little burnout too. So funding is always a struggle. And I'm sure everybody has to deal with that.
I think, Mike, you made a really good comment though, when you said the part about about getting the community to have the understanding of the DDA, simply because I don't think that I guess how the best way to say it is they need to see the value of what the DDA does provide. Sometimes folks just think of it as the DDA as not doing, our tax dollars could be used somewhere else. And they need to see the value that what the DDA does do for the village and for the entity of our village and how important it is. We get it because we're in it and we're, you do this kind of stuff, but the average citizen doesn't quite see, I don't think, how important it and what it does to our culture and to our life in Blissfield. They don't understand that quite.
Well, and to that point, I mean, that's an opportunity that we've had and we've been speaking about for probably too long, is self-promotion, so that we can get the word out there and let people know that what we do. I mean, to your point, Gwen, there's a lot of great things that we have done, but if you talk to the average citizen of the village of Blissville, they have no clue, because we haven't promoted ourselves, or at least done so in a manner that gets the word out as far as what we've done as an organization. And to that point there, as far as getting the word out, another opportunity is getting the participation, getting the involvement from the businesses. We hold network meetings. We invite, several people, and we'll get 10 to show up at a network meeting. We are reaching out to them, trying to get personalized. We're actually delivering the invitations, reaching out to them to email. We're trying to get more involvement. Another opportunity is getting more involvement from the manufacturer set as far as how we can team up with them. In fact, we're starting retention walks tomorrow afternoon. So those are opportunities as far as getting involvement, and then also speaking to the manufacturer set and the people outside, a little bit outside the DDA, as far as how we can participate as a whole, and have that involvement and have that vision to have, to improve the village of Blissfield.
Are there any concerns with parking, especially in the downtown core?
We have two main lots and back behind our buildings, and we do have on-street parking. At times it can be a challenge, but generally I think it's suitable for what we need right now.
It's pretty well managed.
I would say for the most part, yes. Ideally we could always have more, but it's manageable now.
Are there any concerns from the neighboring residential streets about parking when there's events and such? Has that been an issue?
I wouldn't say complaint wise, no. They realize when the events are happening, and I think the support is there. If it's a successful downtown event, then they get that, the few that we do put on, it's a successful draw, and I think they support us in that.
Okay. That's good to hear. I think the couple comments about the community buy-in, this process for updating the development plan will be a good opportunity to kind of raise awareness for the DDA and to educate the community a bit about what's involved and the direction that the DDA is going in. And hopefully the community and stakeholders will feel like they're involved in the process, and that can build some trust and transparency. Are there any other comments about just the downtown in general, priorities?
Well, the expansion of the district, because we have, built to our outskirts. Again, I think that's something that we don't know about. What are the stipulations? What are going to be the issues behind it? To have two different TIF captured districts. I think that's probably, on top of just renewing, that's probably one of the bigger questions that we have is how are we going to pull that off? Working with the tax districts that are going to, agree with that or fight us for it, and how do we just pull it off?
One of the things that does at Yuletide, I did a lot of surveying for that event.
Gwen.
And yeah,
You're on as a visitor. You got to address it as such.
oh, I'm sorry, Mike, I apologize.
But go ahead. I mean, just, you know what I'm saying?
No, I thought that I was allowed to make some comments as a visitor. I didn't realize that I wasn't.
It's just like a normal board meeting.
I understand now. Gotcha. Okay, then I'll just hold my comments. Thank you.
Right.
Okay, well, if there's any other ideas or thoughts that come to mind, please feel free to share them with Heather, and then you know, we'll get wind of them. I did
Yeah, we
wanna-
can email, you know, the comments or questions or discussion. That's fine too, and that way it just gets it back to you guys for anybody that has comments or concerns. Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. I did want to touch on the public engagement opportunities. The first outreach that we are planning on is a survey, and I was wondering if there have been like any burning questions the DDA really would like to see answered as part of this, whether it has to do with streetscape or building materials or specific events that you want feedback on. Now is really the opportunity to include those questions.
I would say one of the struggles that we've had over the, I don't know, past 15 years that I've been on is getting that community feedback on what are we doing right, what are we doing wrong, what do they want us to focus on. You know, I think event wise, you know, beautification wise, whatnot, we feel like we're doing a good job, but we're not getting the feedback from the community to find out, you know, really, is that where we need to be focused on? You know, are we helping the businesses? Are these events bringing in customers, or do we need to focus, you know, our mission, our vision elsewhere to, because really that's ultimately what we're trying to do is support our local businesses and recruit new ones. We've sent surveys, you know, we've asked questionnaires, we've done numerous things, but I feel like we don't get that feedback from the community on what are we doing well, what are we doing not well. I mean, Scott, you kind of agree with that?
No, I do.
Okay. Well, we still have time to finalize the survey. That's something that we'll present to you at the February meeting. But just maybe keep that in the back of your mind the next couple weeks. And if there's any specific questions that you'd like to see, we're happy to include them. The second public engagement opportunity will be some stakeholder interviews and focus groups. So this is where we might drill down a bit into the business community, maybe some of the industrial users, maybe looking at one of the potential other TIF districts, maybe some of those property owners, and we'll work together to solidify those different stakeholder groups. And then the last public engagement opportunity we're hoping can be an in-person event. And Heather and I briefly talked about this, and we've had a lot of success when we go out to the community and partner with an event that's already going on, just making it easier for everyone to participate. And we thought maybe doing something in conjunction with the Railroad Days at the end of April, weather permitting, could be outside, safer environment, and to try and interact with the community, maybe catch some individuals who we normally wouldn't be able to connect with under the more standard engagement techniques. Are there thoughts or concerns or any other ideas for the public engagement?
Not that I can think of, but again, you know, it's just we obviously want that feedback from the public then. So, you know, how do we best bring people in order to get that feedback, get that information. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, it sounds like then that the railroad days might be a good option, and we'll fine tune that as we go through the process. But I think we will have a lot of success capturing ideas and attitudes of the community by going out to them. That was really the gist of what Stephanie and I wanted to cover this evening with you. I think we've learned a lot and have a better idea of past accomplishments and really what are some of the priorities moving forward. And we will be in attendance at that village council meeting next week.
Great.
Or in 2 weeks. Are there any questions that the DDA board has for us at this point?
Any questions, anyone for Laura? No? All right, well, we look forward to working with you and Stephanie. We appreciate your time. And, you know, I think this is the right move for us, not only because, you know, we're not professionals in reapplying for the TIF, but I think we do want to really expand and try to move our outskirts and expand to that second TIF territory as well. So I think, you know, hopefully you'll be able to help us out with that one.
Yes, that's part of that process. And we look forward to working with you as well. And just thank you for your time and your thoughts this evening. If there's any other ideas that are generated, you know, after this discussion, please share them with us, because we are definitely interested to hear them.
That's perfect. We will make sure that they go to Heather and then she can forward them on to you. So that sounds great. All right, Laura, I may have to step out there to disconnect you from being the host or whatever. So I'm going to work with you on that, everybody. So just give me a few minutes. But again, Laura and Stephanie, if there's nothing further, we appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks. All right, we good to move on? Okay. I think I have the host back. Is everybody still there? Scott?
Yeah,
Cindy,
I'm here.
everybody? Okay.
Actually, Mike, can I get a roll who is actually here for the minutes?
Yeah, let's. Okay. I've got myself, you, Sandy, Bob, Cindy, Laura.
Laura's at
Barb.
the office, right?
What's that?
Laura's at the office.
Correct. Yep.
You're at the office. Heather's at the office.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I believe we're only missing Brenda is who I believe we're missing.
Oh, Barb's at the office there.
Barb is here. Yes, she is. Yep. And,
Thank you.
And we'll technically call Heather leaving at 6:58. She's got to leave.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So again, we appreciate McKenna being here. We'll move on to the Coach Light Plaza update. As I'm sure you've all heard or read, so council did discuss it in closed session. And outside the closed session, there was a motion made from council to reject the offer from Coach Light, but explore options for the purchase and redevelopment of the property. So, you know, again, it being in closed session, it's hard to discuss what the issues were, but I think that just based on past discussion of outside, you know, the closed session, I think everybody kind of knows where we need to focus and what we need to look back on. Council didn't want to just drop it off the table. They wanted to Sorry, I don't know if that's a phone or what. Echoing, hold on. But, and I know Heather's a little bit frustrated. Some of us are obviously a little bit frustrated, but we do want to continue seeking out those possibilities and things that can happen. Again, sorry, everybody.
We turn this off and we could just do it.
I don't
Can
know
you
what
hear me?
changed there, but. Maybe I can't get it. Can you guys still hear?
No.
Yeah, echo. Yeah, I'm looking. He's got an echo. Yeah. He's Laura Hall. She's with her, they were the ones that talked about the TIF thing, not local. Oh. So what happened to Mike? I see his name down at the bottom. He has been running it, or he started to, because Heather just left.
Hey guys, I'm trying to fix this for the sound because now Laura and I can't hear. So just give me a second, okay? I think it's muted, so one moment.
Can you hear me? This is Laura. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you, Laura.
Okay, good. I just jumped on Zoom so that we could respond.
Okay, perfect. How's everybody back? Everyone can hear. Sorry about this, you guys. I know this is a disaster. I apologize. Okay, so Coach Light, you know, if we could find a funding mechanism to make it happen without the village co-signing, I think that would be okay. You know, that was part of the discussion outside the realm, as well as, you know, again, just the timing, you know, that we didn't get the information. Well, we tried to get the information out there, but the public perception is just not sitting well, I don't think, with a lot of the residents. Again, we know that based on Borchards alone, we can afford this project. The problem is, again, how do we try to self-fund it? How do we make it work? And, you know, what are our other options to explore? Unfortunately, I think we need to go back to the drawing board and see what other options we have.
Is a traditional bank loan out of the question?
I don't know. I wish Heather was here to answer that. I don't know.
Okay.
Obviously, we would need, you know, a % down, whatever. And, you know, we're looking at doing the mini park. We're looking at doing that property, things like that. And again, you know, we need to get that information out there that we have a fund balance. We have our own operating funds, you know, which is different from, you know, i.e. the pool, i.e. the wastewater treatment plant, that kind of stuff. But again, I just don't think that people have that understanding or that knowledge out there that unfortunately, you know, is kind of holding back the project. Scott, I'm sure you probably have some comments on it. I mean,
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I was muted there. I was just going to say there was a number of things over the past year that, with proper village direction as far as the administrator goes, I think we would have been ahead of the game. But it seemed like things kept getting changed. Financing was all of a sudden it had to be bonds, had to be bonded. And there's just a number of things that were open conversations. And then then they changed, which delayed and then which added confusion. I mean, all said and done, I mean, a lot of the work that was done through the DDA was positive work, the performance and all that stuff. I think will entice a future person or a future business entity or a future corporation or something like that, as far as wanting to go into Coach Light Plaza. The value is definitely there. And it might be opportunity still for the village. But again, the timing, the appetite, and the manner that it was being proposed, you know, if we were a promotional company, we would have, well, we did. We fell flat on our face as far as doing that.
Correct. Yep, you're right.
So, but we can definitely learn from it, because there are going to be other opportunities with blighted buildings that we do have in town, you know, business buildings. I mean, there are opportunities right now.
And I would hope all that work that we've done would be able to be presented, you know, like we've discussed before. Another previous buyer wasn't interested in that, but I can't believe that, whether it's, you know, a private person or a corporation or whatever entity it is, wouldn't want to utilize all that information that we've gathered on that.
Yeah, no, I do believe that there are other entities actually utilizing it right now. So it's being looked and reviewed upon.
So I'd like to just say, like, voice my disappointment. And also, and I don't know if this is the right venue, but at some point, are we a valuable entity to the village of Blissfield, or should we disband? I mean, if we're not going to be respected and looked at as a viable, as thoughtful, doing our due diligence, I don't know, I feel very disrespected as a board. And help me see differently if I'm thinking wrong about this.
I think it's a valid concern, but I think it goes back to that self-promotion that we have to have as an organization. I mean, we spoke about putting a quarterly page in the advance. It hasn't happened. We spoke about other ways to actually get the word out and basically do the self-promotion. And here's I think a great example of the lack of us doing that meant that we weren't going to build support for a project that we had to build support for, because we weren't self-promoting ourselves. You know, you have to do that. Whatever way you look at it, you still have to do it. I mean, as far as if you do it in the local paper, if you do it on the radio, if you do it on banners, as far as this provided, you know, through your sourcing of the DDA of Blissfield, like a new awning goes up. I mean, there shouldn't be any reason why we don't have a sign saying this provided or assisted by the DDA. We have to shout out our successes to the community. Otherwise, they're not going to know what we do in the background. They're just going to see improvements happening and have no clue that we were part of those improvements.
You're right.
But Scott, the village council knows what we've done, and that's who I feel disrespected by. Right? Wrong?
I can't speak to that.
You don't think they know what we've done?
I'm sure they know what we've done, but you know, they have to answer to the citizens of the village, and that's who they've been listening to more than us. I think. I mean,
we're not going to have that water treatment plant paid off for 40 years. Are we not going to be able to do any projects until that's paid off?
Yeah, I can't answer that.
I don't mean to be a pain in the side. You can sense my frustration, but I'm just frustrated. So never mind.
And I think you have every right to be, just like, you know, the Parks and Rec board are asking the same questions. You know, what are we listening to as village council? You know, what is the point of these boards? You know, obviously we have them for a reason, and we should take into consideration. Absolutely. I agree 110% with you. wearing my DDA board hat, I am frustrated just as much as you, because I think we have done our homework to make sure that this could happen, properly.
Mhm.
And I agree. But like Scott alluded to, yes, we are also having to answer to the public, and, be it right or be it wrong, whatever that information is out there. Unfortunately, it seems like we haven't gotten people to understand or believe that that project is self-funding and can happen. The project is never going to make money. We have all agreed to that. That's part of the DDA doing the business that the DDA can do. And we
Right.
understand that. I think a lot of the public doesn't understand that. It's what's in it, what's best for the village, and for the DDA to take that hit. Obviously, that's something that we have decided we are willing to do. The DDA has done that in the past, whether it's a small facade grant, whether it's paying to do whatever event or whatever physical improvement. That's money that we don't ever get back, but it's for the betterment of the village. And that's what people need to understand. We're not going to recoup all of our costs on this project, but that's something that we had agreed to do on the board because we do it in the best interest of the village. And that's what we're here to do. So I get your frustration. It's just, say we purchased that for 900, or just throwing numbers out here, we purchased it and rehab it for 1 million, just to use dumb numbers, easy numbers, and say we sell it for 750. That 250 is a lot of the questions of where the public is asking, where does that money come from?
Mhm.
The 250 that we're not going to get back from it. So again, that's the kind of questions we need to sit back down with Heather. We need to sit back down with whoever and say, okay, we have our fund balance and we're willing to risk this and we're willing to spend that. But that also does affect some of the other programs and events that we may have to, put on the back burner or something
Sure.
in the future.
Mhm. Okay, well, I vented, I'm good.
And I take absolute to heart what you say there, because I think we're feeling it across not only just where my council at, from all the boards, planning commission, parks and rec, DDA. We want to listen and we want to, have your guys' input and your sense of worth, because otherwise, yeah, you're right. That question is, why are we here doing this?
Mhm.
So I hear you loud and clear. And again, I don't think council was in favor of dropping it. I think that's why the motion was made, to keep it on the radar. Let's try to revisit it. And again, if there's more information out there, if there's better information, if there's things that we can do to say this is a guarantee, then it may sit well better with the public and with council itself.
Okay.
Anybody else feel that way? Want to discuss anything else regarding Coach Light? Or again, I don't want to just drop it off the radar. So, I mean, we can continue, directing Heather to explore other options. Do we want to step away? What is the board feeling?
I think we should direct Heather to.
You can't hear Barb, but she said she would like to direct Heather to keep looking into it.
Okay. And also, rumor is out there that another private entity may be looking at that property. And then if they pick it up, then how do we assist them as a DDA board in order to accomplish the things that we wanted to do,
Sure.
as well.
Mhm.
Again, we don't want to just drop it, because that is a very important part of town that needs to continue to be looked at. Okay. Anyone else want to discuss on that, or should we move on? The mini park update, you can see in the email or the attachment that Heather left. Edge is pretty much complete with the final contract designs and documents. So they're going to provide that here with us, hopefully within the next couple weeks, on something that we can go over. And we can discuss, do we want to finance it? Do we want to try and go all out? Do we want to hold off? So I think we're just about there. I know it feels like it's been a couple months, but I think there's some things that Edge and Heather have been working on just to get the final documentation to us. Any comments on that one? Okay, if not, we'll move on to the facade grant for Blissfield Martial Arts for their sign out front. They came back with a smaller sign just due to the zoning administrator's concerns, whatnot, being on the corner and whatnot. So it did come in a little bit under budget. Entire project was 3274.39. So, or sorry, that would be the 50% of. This is 50%. That seems high. I wish I could ask Heather, but I believe that's where we're at. Yeah, the 3274. Oh, that's because they did the railings and stuff as well. So it's the sign and then the railings and the, you know, the front step issues that they had. So the design committee did approve payment of that. We would just need to authorize formal payment.
Expensive sign.
That's why I was reading bad. It's not just a sign. It's, remember, the balusters and whatnot, and then the railing for their front porch that they had, and then the painting and the fixing of the stairs going up to the apartment as well. I think that was part of it. So the sign actually came in cheaper than what they had originally requested. So the sign was $2398.78. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to make a motion for the payment. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we would need a motion, a second, to authorize payment of Blissfield Martial Arts for their sign, which was the $2398.78, and then the work on the stairway and the front porch for $41.50, and then we would pay the half.
So I'll make a motion to pay Blissfield Martial Arts for the previously approved 50% of facade improvements at 120 East Adrian with a total of $3,274.39.
I'll second that.
Okay, I got a motion, Bob, and a second, Sandy, to go and approve final payment to Blissfield Martial Arts for $3274.39. That's 50% of the sign and the improvements to their stairway and front porch. Any discussion or further questions? Hearing none, Scott will go ahead and call roll for that one.
Mike,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Barb,
She says yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
myself, yes. Sandy,
Yes.
and
Brenda.
is Brenda there?
Brenda's absent.
Okay, and Heather's absent.
Yes. All right, that motion carries. Okay, up next we have our RC update. Redevelopment ready. You can see the list of things that Heather has done to try to make the red boxes, if you guys remember, all those turned green. So it's just an update of where we're kind of at. I really don't have a whole lot to say without her here, but that's, we're trying to continue checking off those boxes in order to get everything green so that we can move forward with our RC. Maestro. Did anybody, or is everybody familiar with what that is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what she wants to do is have a like a Zoom training or sort of a informational meeting. She wants to do that this Friday at 5:30. If you guys can log on, she said it shouldn't take very long. But again, it's just sort of an informational and first steps process on using Maestro in order to help us streamline a lot of our things. So not only, you know, keeping contact information, but just updating the boards, that sort of stuff. So we should be able to utilize that. If you guys can hop on Friday the 15th at 5:30.
I am unable to attend.
Okay. Up next is the impact report. As well, remember from last year, this is something that the Michigan Main Street program came up with. It's just like we had talked earlier, you know, how do we get our information out there? How do we toot our own horn and get our, you know, get what we're accomplishing out there? So this is the updated one. It's a 4-pager. And Heather wanted me to bring up how can we possibly, or can we possibly find a way to do it as a mailing flyer so that everybody in town can get an idea of where we're doing, what we're doing with this. So, you know, we discussed, you know, can we mail it out with a communicator? Can we do it with, you know, some sort of bills, whatever? But being at a 4-pager, it may need to be on its own. Well, you know, a 2-pager front and back.
Do we
But,
know how much it will cost?
I believe there's 11 or 1200 units that it would be sent to throughout the town, you know, including businesses. We want the businesses, we want the residents, we want everybody to try to get a hold of it. So I can tell her to get us a, you know, an estimate on what it would actually cost, but I think it would be well worth it.
Well,
think
in
just
light of
based
our
up-
previous discussion, I think it's more than worth it.
I agree with Laura.
It's a beautiful publication.
It is, and it's very, you know, it's created by the Michigan Main Street. We just plug in the data and it kind of puts it together for us. So it really doesn't take her a whole lot of time, but it does, again, it keeps up that, you know, that publicity and that information on what we're trying to accomplish and what we are accomplishing. So if we want to just authorize, you know, we could probably do that in our advertising budget if we wanted to get that out there. It's up, you know, unless you guys want a formal cost estimate on what it would be to mail those out. You know, printing's obviously done in-house. That's included in our, you know, in our copying maintenance program. So we could do the printing in-house. It would just be the mailing.
I'll make a motion to do the mailing. I think it's of utmost importance.
I'll second.
Barb seconds.
Okay. So we do have a motion, Lauren, and a second, Barb, to go ahead and authorize Heather to do a mass mailing.
Mass
of
mailing,
the-
yes.
Yeah. Of the, whatever these are called, sorry, impact reports.
It's called, what's it called?
Impact report.
Yeah.
And
And
then
then we want,
I was just,
no, go ahead.
no, I was just wondering about our DDA Main Street website. Do
Yeah,
folks look at that so we can post? That's beautiful, like Laura said. I would like,
Yep.
that would be something to put on. the web.
Absolutely. Put a link onto that so that it's right there.
Right.
Mhm.
Yep, that would be an idea. That is a good comment. I will relay that to Heather. Okay.
Do we need
So-
permission to put it on our own Facebook pages? Can we?
Nope, she can do that as well. Absolutely not. That's
Okay,
that's
so we
totally
can
up
do
to
that?
Heather. Yeah, that's yep, every social media, Instagram, whatever, we can post that to.
Okay.
Be fine. Do we want to go ahead and then send that to all residents, all businesses?
Yes.
That's part of the motion there.
Yes.
Okay. All right. There's nothing else on that, Scott. We'll go ahead and we'll call roll. We'll make sure, you know, obviously we have the funding to do that, but we'll let Heather decide whether it, you know, constitutes as advertising or wherever she wants to take that out of the budget.
Okay. Let's see. So it's a motion to approve Marks to do the mailing of the impact report to the community, which includes businesses and residents.
Yes, sir. Perfect.
That's made by Laura, second by Barb.
Yep.
Okay. Roll, I have Mike,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
myself, yes. Brenda and Heather absent.
All right. Up next finally is the board guidebook. This is something that she included last month as well. So again, just kind of read over this stuff. Scrolling through the board guidebook, there are elements that they recommend that we try to do as a board and things that we need to hold ourselves accountable on. She's kind of listed those in the bullet points here in our memo. So just kind of read through those and we can pick and choose and see, you know, if we want to all take them on or if we want to divvy those up or whatnot. But the third page on that board guidebook, it says it's on page 5 technically, is a board member and volunteer profile. She just wants us to update that. They're just trying to get information to, you know, for the Michigan Main Street program for diversity and whatever else that they're trying to maintain, you know, information on for the different boards. But go ahead and read through those bullet points on the memo. Those are things that she wants us to be held accountable on, and then we can discuss that further down the line. Obviously, she's not here to do her report, but I think she's continuing to do, you know, you can read through and see where she's actually been updating with the yellow highlights. She continues to, I think, do a good job on her, you know, on her end. So, and then budget wise, you could see that at the end of our packet. So does anybody have any questions, comments, anything further that, you know, I can get with Heather tomorrow. I can call her, email her, or step in if there's anything that you guys are missing or want to talk about or want clarification of. I can make sure that she gets that out.
Does she want us to fill out that Main Street board member?
Yeah. Yep. Page
Okay.
3. Yes.
Yep.
If you couldn't get that to her whenever, whether you fax it or email it or whatever you got to do to her. So
Yeah. I actually,
Cool.
there's a lot of neat stuff in that guidebook. And there are things that we do and there's things that we don't do. And yeah, I would like to, when Heather's here, discuss some of the items that are in there. I mean, I'm talking even about like our, like some of the things we do at our meetings. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to do at council meetings, but like her report and all the minutes and the committee meeting minutes, they could all just be put in one, and it says that it's up to board members to read that, and that we like pass it all at once, and if there's any questions, then I think if you have a particular question you can ask, but other than that, you should read it and know what's in them. That's kind of what I
absolutely thought. That's our job. Thanks, Bob. Anybody else have comments, questions, anything before we go into adjourn?
Just any update on the student board members?
Yes. Yep. I believe she had completed that questionnaire. I did a spell check with her the other day on it, so I think it should be mailed out. We added, it's kind of a one pager just for any of the board members. If we were going to open that up to, you know, whether it's not just a student for our program, but, you know, why do you want to be on this board? Why would you like to be on the planning commission? That sort of thing. So again, we have that sort of consistency throughout the village, but then there's another page that's included on, you know, this tells about what the DDA does and then why you want to be on the DDA board and what you think you can bring forward to it. So that should be going out to the schools here. And I will make sure that Heather sends that out to you guys, sends that as a mass mail so that we have that as well. I'll put that down for her to pass that on. Did she send that out to you guys or no?
I did not see it.
You did not see it. Okay.
Yes,
I will
she
make
did.
sure. She did?
Yeah, I got mine and it's completed.
Okay.
I want a gold star.
Oh.
All right. I'll make sure, Scott, that she resends it so that you have it, but that way I don't think she sent it as an official thing yet. So if you have any questions or comments on it, get back with her. But she said she was trying to finalize it. I think it was Monday when I was in there talking to her. So I don't believe it's gone out to the school yet. That would be the student member. Okay. I'll make sure she forwards it on. Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. Anybody else? Any questions, comments?
I have a question. Could you please bring me up to date on what's happened with the new village signs for the village? I'm kind of lost. I don't know if it's the council's responsibility or it's ours. I know we spent $36,000 designing.
Yep. You're talking about, yeah, the wayfinding.
Yes.
Yes, I did see an email between Heather and the consultants, and I think we had pretty much finalized the look on it. But again, this is something that's going to have to be phased in and out, in a couple phases. I think we wanted to do the entrance signs to town this year if possible, and I'm not sure exactly where she's at regarding that, but yeah, that's something that I would say we would want to do, spring construction if possible. We budgeted for it. So, why would we not go ahead and move forward with those two entrance signs coming into town are kind of embarrassing. They're looking, they've served their purpose in their time. So.
Right. Hey, I was wondering, Pete Durbin asked me about the one out there by the museum, if that could, in discussion with John Tuckerman, he said possibly move it out that far, but I don't know. I mean, whose decision that would be.
That would be ideal because the village limits do extend out there now. So I don't see why we wouldn't want to talk with John, and then open up that property too for the, we technically own it, but if it's something that the museum wanted to purchase, that's probably something we could discuss down the line too. But why wouldn't we be out at the outskirts of town? I agree with you. I can make sure that we start a discussion on that too with Mr. Tuckerman.
All right, that sounds good.
But those would probably be phase one, Sandy. I mean, obviously, I think we budgeted 25. So with those being the brickwork and the larger signs, we probably would start off with those and then start working our way to, into town with the actual wayfinding the next fiscal year.
That sounds good. The sign coming in 23 from Adrian, it needs painting. It really looks bad. If you really
it does.
Yep. At it, I hope we can do that this spring.
I'm with you. And even if we could bump that out right to Wellsville near the medical building, that may be an option too, because that's technically the entrance to town too, if we need to do that. But I know it's only one or two parcels, but it's something to look into.
Might be easier to work on, and we might be able to do more with it at that location.
Yep. Thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate it. I'm glad you guys are, holding us accountable and sticking to the projects that we do have on the radar. So thank you. I will get with Heather and then I'll get those questions answered and get all that stuff sent back out to us, and we'll move on. So if there's nothing further, we'll go ahead and call for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn the DDA board meeting.
I'll second.
Second, Sandy. Okay, Scott, motion. Sandy, second. That we go ahead and adjourn. All those in favor, aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, the same. All right, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody. 7:33, Scott.
Got it. Thank you.
Take care, everybody. Be safe.
Same to
You too.
you.